Hi, Ryan Tweest. I'm here to talk to you today a little bit about CVS Health, the strategic plan, and just an overview on the evaluation of the company. Give you a little bit of insight as we move through the presentation on the company's background, their mission and vision and values, some information about their analysis on the SWOT, a little finance piece and component of it, and then we'll wrap up with just a kind of an overview on some ideas or some areas maybe that they can move forward with as well. So thank you for your time and attention. So let's talk CVS Health. They're actually ranked the second largest retail pharmacy chain in America today. Now that's only because of a recent merger between Walgreens and Rite Aid that's still in the final stages of implementation. That's actually probably going to roll out towards the end of this year into next year. In terms of Forbes Fortune 500 companies, they're actually ranked 7th, which is a staggering number. Now what they do is, and just a little bit more about CVS Health, they specialize in what's called pharmacy benefit management services. So imagine, if you will, that you're an employee group or a organization looking to, like an insurance company. You will take advantage of CVS Health because they will provide you with a whole package. They'll set you up with the pharmacy services. They'll send you your prescriptions by mail to your employees. They even work and integrate with doctors' offices and other health medical clinics to get that all wrapped together. So it's a huge program that CVS works with, and they do pretty well at it. It's a pretty successful strategy. CVS is actually divided into 3 major segments. First would be the pharmacy retail segment that everyone knows, the stores, the brick and mortar presence. Second would be that benefit management services, which is also called Caremark or Omnicare. So those are the 2. And then finally would be their corporate segment, which is out of Woonsocket, Rhode Island. Love the name of that town. So in 1995, they actually did their first initial public offering, and before that point in time they'd been kind of like a smaller mom and pop type store with some growth and some changes throughout the centuries. They began in 1967 and moved forward in time, but they didn't start aggressively growing until 1997. At that point, when they did their initial public offering, they started up with these acquisitions. They began buying all of these other pharmacies and growing just exponentially in a very short window of time. So before that point in time, if you're like me and you look around, you probably had never heard of CVS. And now that the 20th century's passed and we're into the 21st, you'll see a CVS just like a Walgreens right on every single corner. So they've really developed their brand, and they've grown aggressively in a very short period of time. Presently, they operate over 8,300 stores all over the U.S., both within the national area and then outside of that into Hawaii and even in Puerto Rico and places like that. So recent changes in their structure, which we'll talk about next, they're actually looking at a merger with Target. So they're actually going to buy all the Target pharmacies and brand and position them, which will actually grow their model even further. So that was a little company background. Let's talk their mission and vision. Now CVS did a rebranding not too long ago, 2 years ago really, to be different than just CVS. They're now CVS Health. So Consumer Value Stores is the name of the CVS, and health meaning that they're significantly focused on the overall healthcare picture. So they're a pharmacy innovation company. Their strategy is to reinvent pharmacy. Their purpose says we want to help people on their path to better health, and their values include innovation, collaboration, caring, integrity, and accountability. So really they're very innovatively focused. They want to pinpoint things like caring, accountability, strategy, and they're really just trying their hardest to provide people with health and opportunities to increase their health. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Let's just break that down. again, they're very innovative as a company. They're actually starting up a ordering online ordering and curbside pickup service, which is a huge opportunity for them to be innovative and to kind of move forward in this thinking. So you have a smartphone, you can actually just order your products, drive into the curbside pickup, and then somebody inside the store will bring them out to your car and actually deliver them personally to you. There's a weakness to this though. This innovative model actually does not tie into their inventory system. So what that means is that they're taking things off the shelf and you're paying for it, but it's not reducing their inventory on the from the store level count. So there's a potential there that they could actually run out of products that people are using at a high demand and not know it right away until somebody comes through and does a cycle count sort of to make sure that these products are back on the shelf. Strength of theirs is that they've done a very good job of these aggressive growth strategies. They're definitely successful at buying other companies, molding them in, filling it in, and then just growing as an investment. With this, though, there is a weakness in that they've increased their their company debt. They've increased their kind of their intangible assets on their books, and it doesn't look like it's a great picture from the perspective of a lot of their financial ratios. Opportunities, big opportunities for CVS would include new drug treatment possibilities, furthering that online order and mail delivery prescription plans that they have available, and wellness model targets that kind of increase in growing towards the population and what we are all about today in America, which is trying to promote and push a healthier movement. So obviously the key threats to this company are the biggest competitors that they have to fight. So Walgreens and Rite Aid, the fact that they're merging together is a pretty changing landscape. It's a big shakeup in the makeup of the overall market for retail pharmacy. So how that's going to work, how that's going to affect things here in the short term, it's kind of a big if, and they don't really know yet what they're going to have to do to fight that. Also, retail in general is just a saturated market. It's a big, overwhelming market, along with the online market growth that's occurring. So they need to be very careful and very conscious of the tack that will place on them. Swap matrices. So when I try to break these two together, so the strength opportunities strategy, they need to increase their at-home pharmacy benefit services. Again, just pushing that in front of the people so that that innovative model says, I can get my prescriptions, I can get my medications, I can get what I want when I want it at the time I want it. That's a huge opportunity to take something they're really good at and leverage it against an opportunity in the environment. Weakness as opportunity is something that they haven't really discussed, but something that really needs to be thought through, which is how do they grow globally? Grow globally. How does a company like that look beyond the United States? There's a lot of point to the fact that CVS has kind of maxed out their abilities within the United States to grow. So beyond there, what should they do? Where should they be leveraging and how can they think about growing globally when it's a challenging thing for a pharmacy to do? Strength threat strategy is how can they innovate their services through many of their online platforms and systems. What that would do is help keep that threat of the competitors behind them. So with Walgreens and Rite Aid going through this massive merger, they're obviously going to have a harder time thinking through what are the next best things, what are the big changes that we need to be doing as a company. And for CVS to be forward thinking right now keeps them a leg up on their competition. Weaknesses, threat strategies. So there's kind of a lull in the R&D and the amount of prescriptions that are new drugs that are being innovated. So maybe there is opportunity for a company like CVS to partner with some of the major pharmaceutical companies to help provide them with ways to innovate, ways to come up with those cures, come up with those treatments, come up with some of those new things, and in turn, that'll be a huge win-win for them. The CPM matrix that I did looked at the critical success factors across all three of these companies, CVS, Walgreens, and Rite Aid, three major competitors, and I compare things like depth and breadth of their product offerings, services and benefits, product quality, um, their government or consumer ratings, and their scale and size. Now, in general, CVS did rank slightly ahead of Walgreens based on the weight that was provided to those. However, Walgreens does beat CVS out in scale and size, and also in product quality. So, leadership strength as well. Walgreens has shown themselves to be just as innovative and just as creative in a lot of different ways. So, it's a challenge for a company like CVS to stay at the top when other good companies like Walgreens are out there. Acquisitions that CVS has done over the years have been a huge part of their model. So it's kind of a key point to their strategy, but also something of a, again, weakness on their part. Again, the major mergers between Walgreens and Rite Aid, and the fact that CVS is now building an acquisition with Target, is going to be a huge shakeup to the whole makeup of the market. So, ratios and analysis. So when I looked at the overall financial ratios of a company like CVS, there was the big ones that stick out to you are the fact that the company debt is actually a debt to asset ratio of nearly half of the industry trend. So they're actually well behind the industry on average for a lot of their debt ratios. Assets are the same way. But the remarkable thing that they've been able to do is actually grow both their stock price and the amount of dividends that they're able to pay out to their investors. So really good key takeaways from that are investments are still looking good for CVS, even though some of these other things are a big struggle for them. Some of the strategic recommendations that I would make, just kind of as an overview and a summary to wrap this up, is that they do require some level of innovation, as they state, is a core value of theirs. They really want to be an innovative company, which for a pharmacy company isn't really that, doesn't seem like a core competency of theirs, much the way of like a Google or some other enterprise type company that's more into online type internet or web based. But truly they are trying their best to do it through their different programs and through the fact that they're actually one of the first companies to discontinue tobacco sales. So they're taking steps to focus their brand, even though it's hurting them in the short term. Another big recommendation that I had is that they need to watch the shakeups in the competitive landscape, and they need to act accordingly by distinguishing themselves. So what can they do as a company that makes them different from a Walgreens? What can they do that gives them the leg up on that competition? And then again, the last piece of this to take home is the long-term horizon for CVS Health. What should they do to look out into the future and say, where do we want to be as a company? Can they actually globally expand into different markets? Can they make decisions about moving into Canada or moving into Mexico, even into North America, or buying or acquiring and merging with a company that's a European pharmaceutical retailer? So it'll be interesting to see where CVS takes it over the next few years. Again, there's a lot of change happening in the retail marketplace. There's a lot of good things and just interesting things. The overall makeup of healthcare in America today is in process of a lot of change. So what will that look like in the next 10, 15, 20 years? And where will pharmacy retailers be when that all kind of folds together is a big question to ask. So I thank you for taking your time to watch this today. If you have any questions, you can always email me, ryan.tweest@cornerstone.edu, and I'd be happy to hopefully provide you with a little insight. Thank you for your time.